Hold on, tonight let's dive into those spine-tingling ghost stories. The wild night starts now. Caroline didn't believe in ghosts but stayed. One day, bathing Ben, she giggled at her mirror reflection. She thought there were no spooky things in the mirror and tried to get a reaction from Ben, but when he saw his reflection, Ben suddenly jolted, as if he'd been zapped. This made Caroline start to suspect that maybe ghosts were real after all. So off she sped to see her bestie. She explained Ben's curiously weird symptoms to her aunt, who handed her some mysterious items along with the usage instructions. As the sticky night fell, Caroline sat up and began chanting, like Auntie taught. Soon, Ben reacted, surprisingly calling out Caroline for help. Save me, save me. Ben was like a superhero, making Caroline believe in magic too. Meanwhile, Mary downstairs sensed something odd upstairs and hurried up the stairs. When she arrived, Caroline was all set to leave. She felt like she'd just woken up from a bizarre dream. However, Ben's behavior made Caroline suspect Mary. That night, she dreamed of wild twists. The merry couple popped up repeatedly in her nightmares, and she even saw them casting spells. When she woke up, she thought she saw Mary sneak out from her room in the mirror. How sneaky. Taking advantage of it all, she grabbed her camera and dashed to the attic, documenting the unusual happenings. She shared her findings with Luke and even tracked down Ben's former caregiver. But the caregiver advised her to leave quickly. Luke decided to take Caroline back to the villa to collect their things. On the way, Caroline spotted the gas station they'd been to before, thinking maybe the folks there knew about magic. Once they walked in, she instantly heard the familiar tune and asked the old lady about the record named Sacrifice. The old lady was shocked and said that Sacrifice was a super powerful magic that could grant immortality. But the catch? Another person had to be sacrificed so the caster could swap souls. The caster could inhabit the sacrificed person's body, allowing for a back-and-forth cycle of immortality. This was the magic studied by that couple. Caroline was more convinced than ever that Ben was trapped, eagerly hoping Luke would join her in rescuing him, but Luke suggested Caroline gather evidence first, and then they'd request a search warrant from the police the next day. As soon as Luke left, Caroline hustled to pack up and prepare for escape. But when she opened her suitcase, she found that the old record Luke had hidden was gone, which felt super weird. She sprinkled some red brick powder and called Mary in, saying there was a leak. But Mary wouldn't step over the powder line for anything. Mary's behavior made Caroline increasingly sure she wasn't a good person. Caroline made her way to Ben's room, informing him she was leaving tonight, feeling like she was saying goodbye. She even dumped out Ben's medication and secretly injected Mary's sugar with some little surprises. Mary called her down for dinner, and the two knew what was up, but the tension was real. Just then, the power went out because of a lightning strike, turning the awkwardness up a notch. Mary went off to grab candles, while Caroline snuck in and poured some surprises into Mary's tea. After sipping, Mary started to wobble. Caroline decided it was time to get serious and declared it was time to rescue Ben. As Ben tried to resist, Mary pulled out a strange drawing from her pocket. Caroline snatched the picture away, noticing it said protection, hinting that Mary was drawing some sort of magic. This only strengthened Caroline's belief that Mary was up to no good, so she rushed to search Mary's room for evidence. Underneath Mary's bed, Caroline found the protection magic drawn and some old sheet saying "Help me." She even discovered a small lock of her hair there, which was seriously creepy. She intended to continue with her escape plan. However, when she arrived at the front door, she was surprised to find that it was already locked. She crashed into it with all her might, but the car only nudged the door slightly open, awkward yet hilarious. Caroline had to back out for another go, but ended up crashing into the flower bed instead. Suddenly, she started doubting the effectiveness of her magic, and Mary was waking up. Mary was armed and looking for Caroline, while Caroline planned to hide Ben in a nearby little shed. As she planned to go to town alone for help, Mary saw her. Luckily, a boat was nearby. Just as Mary stepped outside, Caroline wisely made her get away, thanking her lucky stars. Back in town, Caroline hurried over to Luke and spilled all the tea. Just as she was finishing, Luke's phone rang. It was Mary calling. At first, Luke took the call in front of Caroline, but soon he mysteriously slipped out of sight. However, Caroline noticed that the table was covered with her photos and that strange ring she'd found. At that moment, she realized something was off. Before she could react, Luke suddenly wrapped a rope around her.